All right, I think we're live. Welcome everyone to LearnBiz The Podcast. I'm Lisa Kay, and I am one half of LearnBiz The Podcast, here with my co-host.
Hi, everybody. It's Sandy tuning in with you guys tonight on LearnBiz The Podcast. We thank you guys so much for checking on us, and we hope that you are following our channel. Please be sure to click subscribe and make sure that you are connected with us for updates on upcoming events.
And now we want to turn to our very special guest. Miss Chelse Collins is in the StreamYard with us today. Hi, Chelse.
Hello.
Welcome to LearnBiz The Podcast. We're so glad to have you here with us today.
Thanks for inviting me.
All right, so you are an entrepreneur and you have a business, and we'd love to hear all about it. And we're going to get more into some of the other things you do, but tell us about the business that you want to let everybody know about today.
Well, I am a salon owner, so I offer nail services, waxing services, lash services, brow services at my salon at 2 Oakwood Boulevard in Hollywood, Florida. So I've been in the beauty industry for over 10 years now.
So Chelse, what's your staying power? What is the thing that has kept you around for a decade in this industry?
So originally I got into nails when I was 16. I was still in high school. My sister had taken a nail she had gone to nail school and got her nail license, and then she kind of persuaded me, and she said, hey, if you want to get into nails, the money is good, and then when you get to college you'll be able to have a way to like make money. So her thing was she didn't want to have to help me when I got to college. That's pretty much. So she persuaded me to go. I was in high school, and then at night I would go to nail school for a few months. And then when I graduated, I really didn't still know what I was doing. So I worked at a few salons and, got some training when I was working within the salons. And then when I got to college, I was actually able to work and make decent money. And that's kind of how I paid my way through college. And then when I graduated with a degree, I started working within my profession. And then I realized, like, wow, I have a degree and I'm working in my profession and I'm still not making any money. So then I had to start doing nails on the weekends just to make ends meet. And then I decided a few years after doing that, you know what, I really don't want to work for a large company. I don't want to work in corporate anymore. And so it allowed me to then transition back into the beauty services full time.
I love that. I love how you found yourself through all of those transitions. Sandy?
So, Chelse, I wanted you to tell us a little bit about what it was like getting started in business. What are the things that you kind of had to experience as challenges as you got started?
So I would say I'm a serial entrepreneur, as some like to call it. And so working in the beauty industry, even if you're working in another salon, you're still considered an independent contractor. So that had its own, challenges, especially early on. I had some difficulties kind of getting into some salons because at the time they didn't want to hire people of color or Americans in general. So that was its own challenges. And then as well as like learning how to be more efficient and effective with your services. A lot of times people don't want to train you. Like they want to hire you if you already know what you're doing, but they don't want to kind of take the time and nurture you and help you, because sometimes they can be afraid that you are be better than them, or that you're going to take their clients. but I've also experienced, just some different trials and tribulations in some of the other businesses that I have attempted and been successful in.
And so, when you got started in this nail business, what would you say are some early things that you would advise any other entrepreneurs getting into this realm to do to kind of get the groundwork laid?
I mean, whether it be in beauty or just in trade overall, I always uh, recommend, especially younger people, to always have always know how to do something that it doesn't necessarily require you to go fill out applications and do background checks and do all of these things before you can start making money. So I would just recommend maybe shadowing if you think that the beauty industry is something that you might be interested in. Maybe go shadow somebody for a few hours just so you can see some of the thing, like how their day goes and the flow of their day, or um, maybe email a couple of people that you see on Instagram or you admire on Instagram, whether it be hairstylist, nail tech, slash techs, any industry that you want to focus on, and say, hey, what are some of the things that you've gone through to get where you are, and just kind of ask some questions so that you don't. I would say waste so much time maybe putting the money into going to school and then realizing you don't like dealing with customers.
And that makes a lot of sense. And I try to think about a new startup and how your business is impacted when things happen. How did the pandemic affect your business?
It's so interesting. I read a few years ago the book on the lady who created Mary Hay, and it's beauty and I think tobacco and alcohol are the things that kind of stay the same in tough situations and financial, you know, situations that may be affecting the world in the United States. And honestly, people would act like they were missing their drugs if they not having their nails done. They're like, "What's going on?" And so it was a few weeks where I couldn't work, but then I had an opportunity to like sell take home nail packets with acetone and files so that people could do some of the services on their own. So people still wanted to feel beautiful and look beautiful and have their nails and beauty services done. So it was just more of a pivot.
So I'll go ahead and go to Lisa. I think that you gave some really important points regarding the nail industry that maybe people don't understand, or the beauty industry in general. I'll turn it over to Lisa.
Pivots, I wanted to know from Chelsea, where do you see your business as you look ahead, say in 3 to 5 years? Where do you see this business?
Well, it pertains to the One Beauty Lounge, I want to change the way that people receive their beauty services. I definitely want it to be that one stop shop for beauty, hair, brows, lashes, and to have an opportunity and train anybody that is working within my company how to be genuine with their clients and really care, whether it be about the health of their nails to the shape of their brows. I mean, everybody wants to feel and look more beautiful, and sometimes they just don't know how to go about it. So just really kind of just like educating the people that are going to work with me, how to make sure that each client is satisfied with every service that they receive.
And so I want to ask you about this serial entrepreneur issue that you have. I know that you have more than one business and business interests. So tell us what other things you're involved with. And let's talk about some of the issues that come with being in more than one type of business as an entrepreneur?
Oh wow. Yeah, I'm really crazy. So, um eh, my first love is everything beauty and fashion. So, I love, like I said, helping people look and feel more beautiful. And so, um 3 or 4 years ago, I think it was, I opened a mobile boutique, and I took a bus, renovated the inside, and made it so that it had a checkout counter and a fitting room and several different racks so that I could hang clothes and sell clothes on it. And so that, I would say, was the most challenging and has taught me the most about entrepreneurship, and everything from renovating a bus, which in my early 20s, I, didn't know anything about, and I'd never renovated anything in my life. And just working with contractors to figuring out how to drive the bus, because that was the first thing everyone said when I first purchased it is, who's going to drive this for you? And so it wasn't easy, because I definitely, scratched it and dinged it up a few times, but it definitely taught me persistence, in that business ownership comes with blood, sweat, and tears, literally.
I think that is so cool. So was it fun? Was that a fun business? Did you like it?
It was fun, but it was definitely stressful. You don't know what you don't know until you realize you don't know it. So I was just like, yes, I want to sell close to everyone, and I'm gonna build it, and they're all gonna come. And then along the way, I started to kind of like understand marketing and understand that it really is better to have a niche, a market, especially when it comes to retail. Because if you trying to sell to everybody, you better be Bill Gates's sister, cousin, wife, or somebody, because it takes a lot of money in order to do that. So I am very thankful for the things that I've learned through that process.
So cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's really great. Sandy, can you hear us?
So, Chelsea, when we're thinking about entrepreneurship, one of the things that we always impress upon our guests is to share some of their wisdom. What keeps you motivated and what keeps you grounded in the business that you're doing, and to be able to really push forward. So, what are some things that you have as part of your process to keep you on track with your entrepreneur journey?
I am constantly setting new goals, and finding ways to become more disciplined, because goal setting is easy, but that in order to reach those goals is hard. And like, entrepreneurship is not for everyone, and it really is a lifestyle, and people don't understand that until they get into the business. And so for me, it's about like being super structured, super organized, to the point where sometimes I get annoyed with how structured and disciplined I have to be with my time. But it's necessary, because if I'm not, I can easily, not get the things accomplished that I want to have accomplished.
And so, when you think about the word entrepreneur or entrepreneurship, how would you describe that to someone else? Somebody that's just getting going and doesn't have a clue of what it means to be an entrepreneur. What would come to mind for you?
Problem solving all day, every day. So whether it be with your staff, with your customers, with figuring out how to market, um, doing your taxes, you have to be a problem solver and very diligent about, if you don't know, finding the answer to it.
Thank you so much for that, Chelsea. So, we'd love for you to tell us a little bit about your businesses, because you're a serial entrepreneur, you have a lot of different endeavors under your belt. So, how did you decide on these different lanes? Because you have a YouTube channel, you have the beauty lounge, you did this thing with the mobile boutique. How did you make those decisions? What was it that motivated you there?
I mean, they're all things that I love, and it's crazy because I wish I didn't love all these things, but I couldn't see my life without, without any of them. So they all kind of just came to me. Like I said, my sister kind of like pushed me into the going to nail school. But then once I got there and I was able to interact with people, and talk, and then my clients started to love me and I started to love them. And so it was just an easy thing. So I love, like I said, helping people feel and look. And even with the podcast, I'm able to speak and interact with people, and just kind of like transform their lives, just via YouTube and via video.
So thank you so much for that, Chelsea. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Lisa so that we can kind of close out with a couple of questions and get more information about how people can reach you.
Hey, Chelsea, I was going to say you forgot to tell us about the journalism background as well. You have that background as well, correct?
And that too was always something that I knew that I wanted to pursue. So yes, my degree is in journalism. And then, like I said, I worked for a company for a few years after graduation and made no money at all. But I loved it. And like I said, that's where the podcast part of my business, my other businesses come in at. And it's because I do love to communicate.
Chit Chat Live about? What is that? What's your format
So the Chit
on
Chat
your
Live
YouTube?
is my fun. It's the fun thing that I love to do, and we talk about all things entertainment news. So, like tonight, we'll be talking about the Oscars and the big slap on the Oscars, in relationships. So the overarching goal, is to address some hard hitting questions that maybe, especially people of color, may not talk about, whether it be with their boyfriends or within friendships. And we also bring on experts, we bring on therapists and things of that nature to help us. But it's to start these important conversations for specifically people of color that we don't always talk about in relationships.
You for being out there in that YouTube space and filling that void, because we definitely need more voices to talk about these important issues. And so tell everyone, if they need some services, they need to be pampered, to just feel plain old good about themselves, how can they get to where you are so they can get help?
Yes, so you can definitely follow us, my beauty page on Instagram and Facebook, which is the One Beauty Lounge. And then like I said, we are located in Hollywood, Florida. And yeah, that would be the best way. You can book an appointment on there. Or you can give me a call if you have any questions. And we offer sugar waxing, we offer brow services, brow laminations, lash services, nail services, pedicures. So yeah, definitely that one-stop shop for all of your beauty needs.
Say that I can vouch for how professional Chelsea is and the quality services and products that she uses. I mean, you're gonna just feel so queenly coming and going when you have Chelsea services. So thank you so much for being there and doing what you do. And we hope that you'll come back and visit us sometime and tell us more about what's going on in business.
Thank you so much for asking me to be on. I appreciate it.
All righty. So let's get one for your final parting words. Give us one last bit of advice, because there's a lot of folks out there who will potentially look at this and say, I want to do what Chelsea's doing. So say something, one last bit of encouragement for those entrepreneurs who aren't even out of the gate yet, but they're thinking about going into your line of business in beauty, in the beauty industry.
Well, I'm going to give just a very important piece of advice for entrepreneurship, and I don't know if it's going to be encouraging. Um, don't focus on too much on all the beautiful things. A lot of times when people want to start a business, they're like, gotta get the logo logo and got the right name and but again, they're focusing on the that they're solving. So make sure you talk to your ideal customer, the person who you think it is, your ideal customer is, and ask them, say, hey, I'm thinking about doing X, Y, and Z. How much would you pay for it? Or how often would you use it? And so really do research in the surveying part, which nobody wants to talk about, but it's so important and will save you lots of tears and money. So again, I don't know if that's going to scare people away, but that's my tip.
The realism, because that's what entrepreneurs need to hear. I mean, it's nice to hear the beautiful success stories, but some of the grit that goes along with entrepreneurism is also very important to hear. So thank you for sharing all of that, Chelse, and we hope to see you around soon. We'll be checking you out on the Chit Chat Live. All righty. So are we out? I think we're going to say goodnight. We're wrapping up. We're with Chelse Collins. And thank you guys for joining us on Learn Biz, the podcast. Stay tuned for next week's show. What happened?